Welcome back, friends, to the Cadaver Club. I'm Ben. I am going to do the Horrorman's Slashback Saturday Challenge. The theme for this week is animal slashers, and the movie I chose to review is Skinner from 1993. The reason I chose it was because the serial killer, Ted Raimi's character, goes to work as a janitor, and he works alongside a security guard who has a German Shepherd guard dog. At one point, he is about to get caught in a very compromising situation, and he distracts the dog with something. And so it plays kind of into the story quite a bit. So anyway, that's why I chose it, because of the guard dog. Skinner tells the story of Brett Skinner, who is moving into a new situation. He rents a room from Ricky Lake. He is being pursued by a past victim of his who survived, played by Tracy Lords. And he, moves into this new situation, gets a new job, and just basically tries to live his life as a sick, twisted serial killer. Will Tracy Lords catch up to him? And will he get his just desserts? Only time will tell. Watch and find out. I like this movie, okay? It was not as dark as I was hoping it would be. The director tried to do some interesting things. There was a water motif that he tried to use. It didn't really work for me, but I appreciated him trying. Brett Skinner is always like sort of walking in water and playing with it and staring at it, and then at one point Skinner says, "Oh, water always takes the shape of its environment," and so that is sort of supposed to symbolize him trying to blend into his environment like water, but it just never really catalyzed as a powerful bit of symbolism for me. Kudos for trying, but whatevs. The other thing the director did was he did a lot of sort of stylized use of light. So during the night scenes, they're lit very blue, and he does a lot of contrasting color play. Sometimes it works really well. You get real nice compositions and the light looks awesome. Other times it doesn't quite look as good. It just looks like a weird saturated early 90s movie. The other thing about the direction is the general tone of the movie. The movie is about Brett Skinner, who's a serial killer who skins his victims, puts on their skin, and acts out their personalities. That's a dark concept, and it could really be explored in a dark way. But the director chose to have Ted Raimi's performance not go dark. So it's not exactly played for laughs, but it's played in a much more comic way, sort of over the top, a little slapsticky. So Ted Raimi was good in it, but I wish the acting choices would have been different, and I'd put that on the director. It's not a straight up horror comedy or anything, but Ted Raimi's performance is also too relatable to make his he's not scary, I guess, is the big problem, you know? Speaking of Ted Raimi's performance, he was pretty good in it, but there is a scene where, I'm not really the most triggered type of guy, but I'm watching this going, oh God, so many people are gonna be offended by this. In this movie, Ted Raimi wears a black person's face and gives a terribly offensive performance. Stereotypically offensive rendition of an African American. I wasn't terribly offended by it, but today's general consensus, people are woke as fuck. This ain't gonna fly. But overall, he did a good job in the role. I mean, he's a fun horror actor. I like him. Ricky Lake. She was great in this. She gives a very naturalistic performance. There was a lot of nuance sort of through her performance. She didn't go over the top and she didn't underperform. I thought she did great in this. Tracy Lords. Her acting in this, you could tell she committed to the role, but her performance was very flat. And I, again, put that on the director. That's how he wanted it played. So anyway, the acting was pretty good for the most part. This is a low budget movie, and you can tell it was a low budget movie. Greg Nicotero and KMB did the effects for it, and some of the effects look pretty good. Tracy Lord's prosthetics didn't look terribly great, and in fact, half the time she wears her hair over her face, allegedly covering it up, but you can tell that she doesn't have the appliances on for like a good chunk of it, and then you can tell when she does. So that inconsistency is there. One thing that took me right out of the movie is Ted Raimi keeps all of his tools of his trade, his skinning trade, in a canvas tool bag, sort of. And they are just in there willy-nilly, clanging all over each other. He's sort of rough with them and dropping them. And as a guy who works with tools, I know that he would never do that. No self-respecting human suit maker would treat his tools that way. But anyway, I am digressing like a motherfucker. The actual human suits that Ted Raimi makes are pretty creepy, and they're pretty creepy the way they sort of hang on his body as well, so kudos to them for that. There's a scene of him skinning someone that's pretty cool looking. So a lot of the effects look good. You would think it would be a little gorier for all of this stuff on the back. It says like bleak, grim, sleazy, depravity, uncut, unconscionable. It's not really any of those things. Overall, this movie is fun enough to watch. The subject matter is interesting. I wish they would have played it darker. The acting was pretty good, though I wish they would have made different acting choices. And overall, I would recommend it to watch. But, you know, you gotta go in knowing what it is. It's not Hereditary, it's not The Shining, and it's not anything like that. It's not a horror masterpiece. It's a fun little slasher. But I think they could remake it, and it would be really good. If they stayed with a darker tone, it would be really good. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have you seen Skinner? What'd you think of it? Did you like this sort of comic approach to it, or would you have preferred it to be darker? Let me know in the comments. All right, thanks so much for watching. Join the Cadaver Club. Bye-bye.